Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And my question of today is, if you had to pick one crypto to stick with for the rest of your life, which one would it be? Let me know in the comment section down below, and let's get crack-a-lackin' as we have a very interesting video coming up. Alright, first of all, the former US Treasurer, who we all know is Rosie Rios, says Bitcoin and ETH are speculative and backs XRP instead. Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, I love this title. And that's not because it's literally what she says. As a journalist, sorta, I'm not really a fan of the title, but as an XRP enthusiast, I really love to see it. Rosie Rios implies that XRP is superior to Bitcoin and Ethereum, among other cryptocurrencies. But is this true? And I don't really need to see the conclusion too much, even though we're going to take a look at it. Just her alone, given this impression of people, I think is already a very, very beautiful thing. And so for all of you who don't know who we're talking about right now, we are talking about Rosie Rios. All right, we're not even going to try because I'm going to butcher. Rosie Rios is an American academic. She served as the 43rd Treasurer of the United States and is a visiting scholar at the Radcliffe Institute for Advanced Study at Harvard University. Understand, once more, she was a treasurer. So she basically put her money on the bills. I don't know how else you want to put it. Even here, a question is, how much money is Rosie Rios' name on? One of the greatest joys of shooting our pilot seasons was watching Rosie Rios, whose name is on over $1 trillion of the currency, right? You can see the little signature on all of them, because that's, again, what the treasurer is kind of there for. Now, the former treasurer tweeted her thoughts yesterday, stating that XRP has a role in facilitating cross-border payments, while the current top crypto lack a comparable value proposition. So she literally stated, XRP's primary purpose is facilitating cross-border payments, while other cryptos find their value in speculation. China's latest move brings this point home. Hashtag Ripple, hashtag RippleNet, hashtag Bitcoin. So we can literally see her, praising XRP in that sense and bashing Bitcoin for a little bit. In my opinion, this is kind of funny, because many people said that her joining Ripple wasn't going to be that big a deal, or I saw a couple of small pieces of criticism, but I've always stood by this. She is one of the best additions that Ripple could have ever made for their brand, but also just in terms of people that you can get. A treasurer whom you cannot say doesn't know anything about currencies. A treasurer is literally the person who knows most about the currencies in the freaking US, so there we go. Her joining your board is so freaking smart. It's just such a key strategic move, guys, and I'm loving it. But for her to kind of say stuff like this, I don't know if they have to pay her like that or if she just did it out of her own, because this is just so beautiful, right? It shows a lot of people, even people in the traditional financial field that are not really crypto savvy, who follow her or know her, that, XRP basically has utility over others. And again, for this Ripple SEC lawsuit, that's a specifically important thing to understand. Now, Rios mentions of China's latest move reference to the country's recent reminder that digital asset trading has been banned within their borders. This was the last in a long line of FUD emerging from the Chinese government. On the alleged basis that crypto is primarily used for money laundering, the announcement, like many before them, caused the crypto markets to temporarily fall, and Rios has supported XRP for months. She joined Ripple's board of directors in May, calling it one of the best examples of how to use crypto in a substantive and legitimate role to facilitate payments globally. She has also praised for its credibility in comparison to Bitcoin, which she, like the Chinese, called the currency of crime on the dark web, which is a rather interesting. I'm not going to say that that's completely true, but we get the idea. Now, dissecting the claims. Rios' recent tweet, which garnered a lot of attention, is questionable in a number of ways. This includes suggesting that Bitcoin and Ether only find value in speculation, which simply isn't the case. Bitcoin is now being used as a currency in El Salvador and is serving as a digital store of value for many companies and individuals. Ethereum is serving the same purpose for other investors, including Robert Kiyosaki, and largely supports the growth of the emerging NFT industry, as well as a large part of the entire DeFi ecosystem. Rios also implies that XRP is special in its ability to facilitate cross-border payments, which isn't the case in the world of crypto. In fact, Bitcoin's implementations of the Lightning Network, alongside Twitter's recent application of it, are conclusive proof of others that can serve similar purposes. Okay, well, I just saw here that there's actually a clarification to this entire tweet. So let's quickly take a little bit of a look at the clarification that Rosie Rios just made. Let me quickly see here. I'm gonna need to put the timestamps in. I kind of sometimes forget to do it, by the way. And whatever. I got the timestamps now. Rosie Rios said, I want to clarify, in my opinion, while Ripple is committed to the cross-border use case, developers globally, every day, are pursuing other use cases, including store of value, medium of exchange, etc., for multiple blockchains/cryptos. So she just meant to say that there is use case going on for crypto. I guess it's just kind of a smart little clarification for the people that were doubting her knowing anything about crypto for her statement like that, I guess. It's a smart thing to kind of save character a little bit. So, I mean, I'm a fan of everything that she said about crypto for the last couple of times that I've read her stuff. So, I mean, I can't really complain, right? Now, one thing I did saw about her over on Crypto Panic, because I also saw the article here. Let's actually see if we can refresh. That's everything already. So the person says, nonsense. She'll be the first one to hoard Bitcoin. Another said, if this is not another reason for all the blind people to abandon XRP, stay away from whatever banks implement, invest in, and want. Somebody says, what is XRP? And somebody says, this is clickbait. She did not call Bitcoin Ether speculative. She said, compared to other cryptos. Now, I just want to kind of intervene with this one right here. First of all, the name kind of suggests something kind of sketchy going on right there. But most importantly, well, why would you want to stay away if banks want to help out, implement, or what? And where does you get that from? So Ripple, or XRP for that matter, being good in the cross-border payment realm, how is that a one-to-one with banks trying to implement it? And then again, how is that a bad thing? You know what a fun thing is, guys? If you're truly an OG crypto theorist or a person who, maximalist, let's call it, then you'd hate for crypto to get main adoption. Why? Because main adoption would mean that banks and all these bigger institutions start buying into it and going with it. But then again, the banks is there to conclusive function of what you would not want. And that's the difficult part. XRP has a different role. It's still a digital currency, a cryptocurrency, but working together with established entities to make sure that it just does better. Because trying to transform the entire industry with 10 steps at a time is difficult, but doing it, for example, 2 steps at a time is more feasible, like XRP is doing rather than Bitcoin. Point being, Ripple and XRP have always been laughed at for working with the banks, and right now it's actually becoming a lot better where people are like, oh, it's so smart, because Bitcoin is doing it too, right? But Bitcoin is doing it at smaller scales. People saying this is kind of funny. If banks really wanted to implement it, well, then XP would have been at the top already, but they're kind of hesitant towards it because it's newer technology, and they're afraid. But I think piece by piece it will get into there because Ripple is trying their best to get it done. Point being, if that's a negative argument, I think that these guys just want to find something to hate on, guys. I don't see it as a negative argument whatsoever. But again, people have their differing opinions, right? And like I always say, let them think whatever they want to think. If they think it about it this way, you know what? Let's let them have it. Let's let them have it. I don't really mind anymore, guys. All right. Now I have to think, by the way, on how to. Okay. I'm trying to do these timestamps in the easiest fashion. Because every time, I now what I'm trying to do, by the way, guys, is just make a picture every time I see my timestamp so I can put it in afterwards, right? The last time I was trying to write it down and stuff, but that gets a lot more difficult. Then again, now just thinking about it, it might be faster to just write it down rather than take pictures. Because the fun fact is it's so dark that the phone has to like adjust. Whatever. You guys don't care about that. Just know I'm trying my best to get these timestamps going. Watching the video afterwards and doing the timestamps is so much more time consuming. Bitfinex spends $23 million in. You know what? Let me put a light. Like guys, let me put a light on. You know what? Let me put some extra lights. I have lights. Don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see it crisp. I want to see this stuff in full freaking HD. There we go. All right, I put some extra additional lights on. There we go. Put the headset back on. There we go. All right, Bitfinex spends $23 million in gas on Ethereum transaction. This is one of the craziest pieces of news I've seen in a long while. And I'll actually make another update video on this on my 5-minute crypto channel, specifically dedicated to this article because it's so freaking crazy. Now, today, a wallet owned by Bitfinex paid about 7.7 thousand ETH for one transaction with Diversify. All right, so yeah, this is just insane actually. Bitfinex spent about 7,700 ETH for a transaction of $100,000 in USDT, to the layer 2 decentralized exchange DeFi at today's prices, which equates to about 23 million bucks. So the transaction inadvertently included a very high miner priority fee of 53.2 million guai. This meant the transaction fee was 230 times higher than the value of the transaction itself. DeFi said that the erroneously high gas fee was caused by an error on its interface. DeFi is a Bitfinex-backed decentralized exchange that leverages Starkware's Layer 2 technology for settling transactions faster than on the Ethereum mainnet. That's what every Layer 2 basically does, right? Starkware is then again one specific part of it. You guys get it. It's been touted as a competitor to DYDX, the current largest Layer 2 decentralized exchange by trading volume. And this is again what was said. At 11 UTC on the 27th, a deposit transaction was made using a hardware wallet from the main DeFi user interface with an erroneously high gas fee. Notably, DeFi works closely with Bitfinex, and DeFi was originally known as Ethfinex, and Bitfinex is one of its main backers. Last week, DeFi created a bridge to exchange to allow low-cost transfers of ERC20 tokens between two platforms. And the question that's going on in my mind is how? At the time that I was actually looking this stuff up, they didn't let go of any statement around it. I'm just quickly looking if they made any, if we can find any new tweets that they put up for it. I don't think so. I think Bitfinex wants to keep the damage as low as possible and not let go of this, because I'm not seeing anything on their 700,000 Twitter page. Oh, I need to grab it in. Let me try. Let's see here real quick. No, they're not letting... Oh, here we go. 5 hours ago. So they did. When I was looking it up, they didn't. In transactions such as these, the fees are shouldered by third-party integrations with Bitfinex. This has also been confirmed by DeFi in the recent statement, who look forward to DeFi's investigation and to their having this matter sorted on their side. Now, the only thing I don't get, and that's because I don't know DeFi, is whether or not it was a fee that was like so the way I'm thinking about this right now is Bitfinex wanted to send 100K to DeFi, right? To the decentralized exchange to store it on there, basically, or trade it, whatever. We don't really know. We don't really care. In Ethereum or whatever they wanted to pay for. I guess it's USDT, right? So it's most likely, yeah, it's 100% certain Ethereum USDT because that was the fee. They wanted to send it over there, 100,000 bucks. But as I get it right now, DeFi is supposed to get the gas fee very low. But of course, that's what DeFi itself is for. To get your Ethereum off chain, there's also pretty high cost usually. So let me actually explain that. You can do transactions on the Ethereum layer 1, the main chain, or you can take things to a layer 2, a side chain, like for example, we've talked about with Polygon and things like that, right? Optimism. We've talked about a lot of different ways in which it could happen. One of them, in this case, being the DeFi, which is built on something I'm really not too familiar with. What was the name for it now? Starkware's Layer 2 technology. So, point being, you have to then pay a fee, basically, to get your money out to the Layer 2 system, to kind of start tracking transactions there, which will be cheaper from that point forward. So, I am assuming that in this transaction taking the money to the Layer 2, they paid a very high fee, or basically putting their guai just ridiculously high. I'm not sure exactly why that happened. And I'm not sure if it was an automatic thing that DeFi changed for them, or if it was Bitfinex putting in the wrong number because of the DeFi UI, right? User interface. I'm not sure about that. As of this point, it's not clear because I don't know where to find it really. But it's not a small mess up that can be done easily, and it's also something that is irreversible. So I'm not sure if Bitfinex has lost the money or DeFi as well, because I'm assuming that Bitfinex sent the money, and so it also came from their wallet, right? From their hardware wallet, the money. Then again, because it's their mess up and their user interface that had it wrong, and it's also kind of a subsidiary in some way, I wonder who's going to take the blame for all of this. It's a strange situation. It's definitely peculiar. And again, I'll give a small update on this on my 5-minute crypto channel too, just because it is that freaking interesting. It's vague, but it's satisfyingly interesting. Let's put it like that. All right, let's move on though, guys. Let's move on. We have India. India has 2 times more crypto users than the US, UK, and Russia combined. That is actually insane though, isn't it? Global crypto users have surpassed 280 million, with India accounting for the highest figure. And here you can see the numbers. India has 100 million crypto users, it says. And I wonder if this is like a fake, or just because relatively India just has so many people and China has banned it. Because if you check the numbers and percentages, there's 7% of the population that are into crypto. So we can almost say that, like, freaking, it kind of feels as if 10% of the world is almost getting into it, right? Then again, it's because some of the countries that they list have such a high number. In actual words, if it's 280 million people, it's not that big a percentage of the entire world just quite yet. We're getting somewhere, but it's not that big a number. Then again, for India to have 100 million people is actually insane. But then again, I do wonder what the China number would have been had they also been in this list. Had they not been banned, how big would China have been? Would it have been like, for example, even if it were 5%, that number would have been number 2 at least. So that's pretty interesting, kind of to think about that. All right, moving on forward, because that one I can't really spend too much time on it, right? I mean, it's cool, but it's not that important. Moving on real quick is this. Binance stops fiat deposits, crypto trading, and crypto purchases over in Singapore. Not really a big deal depending on how you look at it. I guess I personally find it a big deal because a lot of my friends are from Singapore, and I just want Binance to be as broad as possible. But it was already a long-term thing coming, all right? October 26th is going to be the last day for all those traders out there. We will be restricting Singapore users in respect of the regulated payment services in line with our commitment to compliance. It's a positive thing ultimately because Binance was to get proper regulations in place. But it's a negative thing on the short term, right? Because nobody ever wants to say, oh, regulations, that we were happy with that, because people get their trades restricted. It's just like, oh, regulations are in, so eventually it'll become better. And that's the good side of it. But the more negative side is basically the fact that there's some negativity that precedes the positivity. Let's put it like that. Cardano ecosystem receives $100 million to fund DeFi and NFTs. Emergo is hoping to accelerate the growth of Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. Emergo has announced it will contribute $100 million to a fund focused on NFTs and education for the Cardano blockchain. And I can't really go too far into this, except for the fact that they've allocated $100 million to it, and we're going to see. Cardano's been doing really, really a lot with the investing right now, and I'm really wondering how far they're going to get in comparison to Ethereum for just kind of expanding their ecosystem. They're doing a really, really splendid job at it right now, and I would love to see them prosper. And I do think, in my own opinion, Cardano will be one of the biggest. They're already the biggest in terms of price and in terms of market cap, but I'm talking about the biggest in activity relatively shortly here. I think they're going to have some huge surge just because of the position and the pivotal influence that I think Charles Hoskinson, with the way they're doing things with the philosophical, I should actually call it the peer review approach that they have, I think just really, really well, guys. So I'm a big Cardano bull, hold a lot of it, and I'm staying excited for the long term here,